Hello again, Nursery. I have one more book for you. And guess what? It's about another frog. I've just made this frog. If you haven't seen it already, look down below this video and you'll see another video, and it's all about how to make this frog. Right. This story is a bit different from the last one because it's an information book. So it's not a storybook, it's an information book, but it's very clever. It's called I Am a Frog because it's written by a real frog. A frog is telling us all about himself. So let's see what he has to say. So here it is. I am a frog. I am a frog. There's a lovely big F there. Frog. I am a frog. When I sit down, I look like this. There's the frog sitting down. When he sits down, he has to bend his back legs because they're so long. When I leap in the air, I look like this. And there he is leaping in the air. You can see his long legs now. I am green and slimy, and I have to live near water, usually ponds and streams. There he is, sitting in a pond. But what is he sat on? Have a closer look. Something big and green. It's a type of leaf. It's called a lily pad, and you often see those in ponds. I am a great swimmer because my feet are webbed. What does that mean? That means I have skin between my toes. If you look carefully at the frog's toes, you can see that he has skin between them. We haven't got skin between our fingers or toes, have we? If we did, it'd look a bit like this. The skin would join our fingers together. That's what a frog's toes look like. My long back legs are strong. I can jump really high. Look, he's disappeared. He's jumped so high, jumped off the page. I have 5 toes on each of my back feet. How many toes do we have on our feet? I'm going to count them. You've got your socks off. Have a look now. But I'll tell you, we've got 5 toes on each of our feet too. So we're the same as a frog. Our feet are the same apart from the web bits. But how many toes has a frog got on his front feet? I have 4 toes on each of my front feet. But I don't have a tail. But I did when I was a baby. Do you remember what a frog is when it's a baby? What do we call it? It begins with a t sound. A little tiny wiggly thing that swims through the water. It's called a tadpole. So a frog has just 4 fingers on his front feet. We've got 5, haven't we? But a frog has 4. I have big eyes on the top of my head. Where are our eyes? They're on the front, aren't they? So the frog's eyes are on the top of his head, but our eyes sit on the front of our head, so that's different. And the frog doesn't have eyelids like you and I. I open and close my eyes, you can see I've got eyelids, but the frog doesn't have eyelids. When I am swimming, a special skin covers my eyes to keep out the water. Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? So it's not an eyelid, it's like a special skin that protects the eyes. On land, I breathe the same way as you do. I use my lungs to breathe air in and out. There's the frog under the water. But I can do something you can't. I can breathe underwater. I can breathe through my slimy skin. My goodness, that's almost like having a superpower, isn't it? That's amazing. So when this frog is out of the water, he breathes just like we do with our lungs. They're inside our chest. But under the water, the frog breathes through his skin. Amazing. I like to eat small slugs and snails, and if I can't find those, I eat caterpillars and wood lice. Sometimes I like to catch a nice fat juicy worm. Ooh, I'm not sure I like the frog's diet. That's not my favourite food. Would you like to eat slugs and snails and caterpillars and worms and woodlice and oh no. I gulp at insects that come too close to my mouth. I have a great big wide mouth but no teeth, so I just swallow my food whole. Yum yum. So there's the frog. He's spotted a fly, he's watching it, and then suddenly he gulps it and then he swallows it straight down, no chewing. I have my babies in the spring. Lots of us gather together, and at night the mummy frogs lay the eggs. That's why they need to be near water. That's where the eggs have to go. Very occasionally you might find frogs' eggs on grass. I found some on some grass once. If there was no pond there, as long as the grass is wet, they can survive for a little while, but they couldn't survive for a long time just on the grass. So that's why they need to be there by a pond. Each mummy frog lays about 2,000 eggs covered in clear jelly. This jelly makes the eggs float. That's the frog spawn, isn't it? 2,000. That's loads and loads and loads and loads. You can't even imagine 2,000. It's so many. The eggs in the jelly are called frog spawn. There is lots and lots of it in the ponds in spring. The jelly protects the eggs from enemies and the cold, and it breaks apart after about 2 weeks. There you go. You can see all the frog spawn under the water, and that jelly stops those fish from eating the tiny tadpoles. The eggs turn into tiny tadpoles. That is the name for baby frogs. The tadpoles wriggle out of the jelly. They don't look like grown-up frogs, do they? They are small, very dark, and they have tails. After about 8 weeks, the tadpoles grow. Do you know which legs they grow first? They grow their back legs, and they still have a very long tail. So that's what happens first. Their back legs grow, and they still got their tail. When they're about 3 months old, their front legs appear, and look, their tails have become much shorter. They're beginning to look a little bit like frogs, aren't they? Soon they have wide mouths, just like me, but they're only froglets. They're teeny tiny, and they won't be as big as me for ages. So there they are. That's when they're really tiny. They're called froglets. I like that word, froglets. And when they're about 3 years old, some of your age, perhaps they will have babies of their own. I'm off for a swim now. Goodbye. Splish. I learned some new stuff then. Sorry. I learned something new that I didn't know about the breathing thing. I'm very excited about that. I hope you were too. Okay, well, I'm going to say goodbye now. And next week we'll have something completely new to learn about. And I'll let you know about that very soon. Okay, bye for now.